Welcome to the Creative Brew, helping you keep your creative juices brewing. We're giving out chunks of insight, motivation, and practicality for your creative journey. My next partner is Elevate Coffee Trading, and if you appreciate specialty coffee, enjoy outdoor adventure, and love helping elevate the lives of children around the world, then you're going to love Elevate Coffee Trading. Their mission is to extract hope through love, coffee, and adventures. There's free shipping in the United States, and every bag of coffee helps sponsor health and education for children in coffee-producing countries and in areas of need in the United States. You can use promo code ELEVATE21 on your next order, and you can follow their journey on social media at Elevate Coffee Trading. Or you can visit online at elevatecoffeetrading.com, and let's start extracting hope together. And this episode is brought to you by Baba Coffee, smuggling good vibes. Baba roasts their coffee beans each week and only offers the freshest coffee. They have espressos, lattes, cappuccinos, pour over, or drip coffee. You can try their cold brew coffee, nitro cold brew, or bulletproof coffee, and boba milk teas. They also have a wide assortment of delicious food. I would suggest you try the avocado toast, mimosas, wine, or beer. On the weekends, you can check out some great music like the Soto Six and food like Eliza the Shelf and others over the weekend, every Friday and Saturday, beginning at 6 p.m. You can check out everything they got going on Facebook and Instagram at Baba Coffee. Welcome to a new episode of the Creative Brew, giving you insights on your creative journey. First of all, thank you actually for everyone that's listening. Happy 2026. I hope you have a great year coming up, and hopefully whatever goals or resolutions, stay with them. Stay with them. Don't give up on them now. But today we have Carolyn Brown. She is the one of the co-founders of Outer Limits Venture Park, and based in Pennsylvania. So actually, more specifically, was it the Pittsburgh area?
Pittsburgh area, yes, correct.
Go Steelers. No.
Yes.
But yeah, today we're going to sort of share just a little bit about Carolyn, just her story, how she even got this started. Because like I said, I'm going to tell you now, entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart, and you really got to have the mindset and the people around you that's going to believe in you to
That's right.
to really build anything great. So I had the pleasure of creating the logo and the identity for Outer Limits Venture Park. So I'm always, like I said, I always sort of see what she's doing. It's always sort of cool seeing her evolve, year by year, and really sort of just keeping it going. Like I said, I know I do my best to try to share and promote everything that you got going, but it's always cool sort of seeing how someone starts something from the ground floor and really build it up. And I think that's something that I think listeners or anyone that's listening right now needs to hear. So Carolyn, without further ado, I'm gonna let you go at it. Your origin story, and then how you got started, where you are now.
All right. So my name is Carolyn Brown, and I am the owner operator here at Outer Limits Adventure Park. I tell people we are your one-stop shop for fun. We are the epitome of locally owned and operated. In our facility, we house laser tag, we house rock climbing walls, arcade games, we do inflatables, and then we have velocity. Where I'm sitting now is one of our party rooms. So we do have party rooms as well, where we do a lot of birthday parties, we do group events, field trips, church groups, we do all that kind of stuff. And I believe we are the best family entertainment center here in the Pittsburgh or surrounding area for sure. We got started here. We've been here for almost 4 years in February. We'll be celebrating our 4th year. And Quantel didn't tell you before Outer Limits logo, he created our sister company called Jumping Jumperoo. So he did that logo for me over 15 years or so ago now, I'm believing. Like it's been a while. So he did our website and all that kind of stuff. And we have been operating that business since 2009. And I just knew there was something more, right? Like I'm in Pennsylvania, so I was operating that business as bounce house rental. And I just knew, I'm like, goodness, I mean, we got a lot of dead months. I used to teach, so I would, teach during those months. But I'm like, I really had a passion to do it indoor. And before I started the rental, I wanted to do it indoor, but it was just super. I mean, before, yeah, I wanted to do indoor. It was just super hard, right? It's a brick and mortar is a different beast. Then the rental business, it really
Yeah.
is. And just the amount of capital I needed was quite different than what I needed for the rental. And it was just a process. So I started jumping jumper roof first. And I mean, every year I would go back and I would go to a bank. I'm like, hey, I got this packet. I'm ready. They'd be like, nope. There'll be a building. I'd be like, hey, I'm ready. They'd be like, no. And all then I still kept growing my rental. Like we were still growing. We were a debt-free company. We did that from the ground. Like we bought 2 units and grew them, and we would just keep investing in our company, that rental company. And again, still while trying to open the indoor and just, tucking our head, working, working. Can we open the indoor? Not yet. Tucking our head, working, working until it came time for that indoor to be possible.
That's great. That's great. Now, I know, like I said, I know with even with adventure parks, I can't even imagine. I'm not in that space, so I like I said,
Mm,
but seeing a lot of like outdoor adventure parks, or no, not really out. I mean, just different things in that industry. Just the amount of capital and manpower it takes to even run something like that. What was
yes.
I mean for you? Like what do you feel like makes Outer Limit a little bit different? I know there's a lot of I know slowly but surely they're starting to sort of fade out. But what
Yeah.
keeps maybe what makes it different? What keeps that thriving?
Me. No, and it is
Yeah, that's
true,
what.
right? So it really is. It is me. The passion that God has given me for this business hits different, right? Like I tell people we are not like your big box franchises, right? You're going to see them everywhere. When you go in, it's going to be all the bells and whistles, and it's great, right? But you're not going to get anywhere else like Outer Limits. When you walk in here, you're going to be greeted. You're not going to see our staff on their phones. You're going to be. Most times, people don't even know I'm the owner because I'm out here scrubbing toilets and vacuuming, picking up, doing with everybody else, right? But you like Outer Limits is different because God has given me the vision and I'm able to carry that forth. And my staff really see how I care about this business. And in turn, they care about it. We have people all the time that come in here and say like, "Oh my gosh, is this all family?" And before my daughter went to college, her and I were the family that work here. And then my mom comes and volunteers and helps, and you'll see my husband come sometimes, begrudgingly to come and have to help. He's ready to come down and fix some stuff. But you'll see that. But other than that, I have young people. I mean, 15 and 16-year-olds who are working. And because they see I'm so passionate and I care so much, in turn, they care, right? Our staff, if you read our reviews, everybody just raves about our staff and our staff and our staff. And again, that starts from the head, right? Like I'm not the owner that is away all the time. I'm working. I'm here. Like one of my staff members told me the other day, I didn't even know you had an office because I'm not in it ever. I'm out on the floor working, greeting the people. And that's what sets us apart. That's what makes a difference. No, we don't have the $4.4 million facilities that's going to have all the bells and lights and all of that. But what you're going to get is a great product, from a literally locally owned business. And you're going to get great customer service. You're going to get a clean atmosphere. That's what, I tell our staff too. You hear so many complaints about all these other facilities is dirty and all of this, and I tell them, what can we do to set us apart, right? Like when we read our reviews, what are our strong suits? What are people telling us that they like? One, people, you think that everybody likes bigger is better, right? But no, we're getting that people like a small atmosphere that they can sit down. And I mean, when I say small, we're still over 12,000 square feet, but people like that they can sit down and watch their kids, right? Without having
Mhm.
other kids trample over them. So let's push that strong suit. That's what people are telling us they like. Let's push that. Two, we know that people like a clean atmosphere. When you walk in our bathrooms, it's going to smell fresh and it's going to look fresh because we believe in cleaning up. I should never walk in the bathroom and see little tissue on the floor. Ever, because every time my staff goes to the bathroom, it's your responsibility to check every stall, right? That's a part of our process here. Three, you're going to get staff that are friendly. If you are not a friendly person, you can't work here at Outer Limits. If you're one of those people who, I had a girl tell me one time, like, no, I just rather be in the back because I don't like talking to people. This is not for you. And she worked at the Family Entertainment Center and she was coming over to try to work here. I said, oh, honey, this isn't for you because we believe that I have a sign in the front that, my staff can see from where they stand in redemption, but nobody else can see. And it said, greet, it says big and bold, just in case you forget, you greet everybody before as they're coming in, and you also greet them as they're exiting, because that's important. We want to touch everybody as they come in. We definitely do. So that's what kind of sets us apart. And I think that's why we are still here. People like our story that, we're local. We're locally owned. You're gonna see me in the grocery store. You're gonna see, our children going to the same schools. We're definitely the epitome of locally owned and operating. I think that helps us out for sure.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. I'm actually glad you said that because even like little things like the hospitality, I know personally for me, like I'm always even in the area, like I'm always like supporting a lot of local coffee shops and stuff
Hmm.
like that. And there's one in specific that I know, actually a couple of them in specific, like I know I can go to and literally they always have a line, but I can go in there and the whole crew doesn't matter if it's a new person or what, within about 2 weeks they already know my name and the whole
That's
crew knows my
right.
name. And it's cool. And they do this for every person, like everyone that walks in there, like they know everyone's name. And
Hmm.
like little things like that. Like the coffee is, I mean, I think coffee's great, but just the hospitality, like knowing like I can come in there and I feel welcome. It's warm, it's inviting.
Right.
Completely different from, I mean, I know I've been to other, amusement parks and things like that. And first of all, I'm never gonna meet the owner. Second of
Hmm.
all, like you got random people sort of roaming around as far as employees, and I mean, it's completely different. And
Hmm.
so I think I'm glad you said that because that matters just as much as
It
you know,
does.
having some kind of big box, amusement park. Like those little things matter. They
It
matter.
does. And even to that point, like we had some guests that we were seeing come in that were deaf, right? And I'm like, man, how can we help? So what I did was I reached out to an organization who had come here for something, and I said, would you mind teaching our staff some American Sign Language? Because we want to be able to communicate, right? We want to be able to say happy birthday. And when they say thank you, we want to be able to say you're welcome. Like we want to be able to say those things because we saw the need. We were getting that community. And, as an owner, and you're not going to get this with those big box franchises. I saw the need. And I said, okay. I asked every staff that would like to volunteer to come. We paid the organization a small minimum fee just for their time they asked for. And we sat in our party rooms and our staff learned from everybody being able to spell their name in sign language to singing happy birthday and again saying thank you. And you should see when children who are deaf or parents who are deaf, when they are talking to us and they're saying something, we're responding and they're like, oh my gosh, they're like so happy, and that matters, right? That matters to me as an owner. And since it matters to me and I make it priority, it then matters to my staff and they make it priority. So it's definitely important. We're here. We're not somebody who is sitting on a beach. I'm here in the cold with 20-degree weather, 10-degree weather right now. I'm here because it matters. My business matters to us. And we want it to succeed. And I know we have to be present in order for that to happen.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. That's great. So, I mean, even for you, I mean, I know you've sort of dived into it just a little bit, and like I said, I know I've known Roy since we was young, but
Mhm.
the like even for you, like being an entrepreneur, like running these businesses, um, how much how much belief do you have to have on a daily basis? And like how many times you felt like, okay, I think I'm just gonna give up on this.
My
But
God.
what keeps you going? I know for me from personally,
Mm.
there's been times where like I was like, man, I think I'm done.
Hmm.
Or just ready to go a different direction. And then something
Right.
something pops up that sort of reconfirms like, hey, hold on,
Hmm.
you're going the right direction. You just may have to be a little bit patient.
That's
What's
right.
been some of those little instances?
So this whole business is a faith walk. You hear me? Like the whole business. And I laugh all the time when people ask us, how did you start it? God gave me a vision for it in a dream. And I woke my husband up and I was like, oh my gosh, I just had this dream and God gave it to me. But it's going to take all of our savings. And he said, well, you better go back to sleep and, try that again. I'm like, you know but it was something that I could not shake, right? And once I told Roy again, he was all right, well, let's go forth and let's pursue it, let's do it. There's been some hard days, right? Some sleepless nights. Sometimes I look at him and I'm like, you just over there sleeping like a baby, and I done got a 2-star review and I can't sleep. okay. Because when God has given you the vision and you're the visionary, it just hits different. And I think what keeps me going is, my faith, right? My faith. And I just believe that, what God has given to me can't, and can, touch it or take it away. But also, I want to create generational wealth, right? Like, I love, my daughter might have been in ninth or 10th grade and she had to do a project or whatever. And they said something like, who inspires you? And something like that. And she said, my mom, because my mom works so hard. She's a great business owner. She's a great mom. And all while she's saying this, thought the world was crashing down, right? And I'm just like, Jesus. Like, it's so funny how the Lord, even like little things like that, he gives you, because I was in a place like, oh my God, am I doing this right? Like, what am I doing? Like, these numbers don't look like how I need them to look. This is terrible. And she's like, Mom, look what I got on my grade. Like, oh, look. And then she read this, and I'm like, this is what you're looking at me like that. And I'm looking at myself like, I didn't messed up. I didn't messed us up. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, what did I do? But little things like that keep me going. I also love, you know, my husband is my, I don't know how y'all was raised in Tennessee, but he is my hardest critic, I would say. And even when he gives me a time. You hear me like, you need to be doing this, and I know he supports me, but he gives me a time. And when I hear him, I'll just be sitting here saying, oh yeah, my wife is doing this. I'm like, wait a minute, but that kind of like I am like you, okay, I didn't know you noticed that. But that kind of stuff definitely keeps me going, like, hearing the support and just how my family is proud of me. Like when I see people come in, they're like, oh my gosh, this place is so nice. Like, do you own this? And then I have to say yes, because I don't tell you otherwise. I'm just working. Only if you ask, you'll know. They be like, I heard this is Black owned. I'm like, it is. You still never know it's me unless you ask me directly, but those kind of things keep me going. Seeing people excited, seeing a birthday party come in and they're like, this was the best day ever. It really, not even being cliche or anything, it really does my heart well. It makes me excited, makes me want to keep going. There's some hard, 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 hard times, right? We have had some rough times. I've made plenty of mistakes, but I just know that God has been gracious to us, even through those mistakes, that we're able to still have our doors open. I've come in before and like, oh my God, I forget to pay the light bill. Let's not, little things, right?
Yeah.
I am not the best person with managing. Like I do a lot, right? So sometimes some things I have to do better with organization. I'm not the most organized person, and I've messed up, but I am grateful that those little things weren't the cause of us ever shutting down. We're able to remain open. But I will say it has been a lot of perseverance, right? Like a lot. Like you cannot, I think you said earlier, like you have to have tough skin, right? Because again, I think I'm tough, right? I think I got real tough skin until I get a 2-star review, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is my baby, and you feel like that? Like no, and it really bothers me. I'll even try to reach out to the person. I respond to every review I get, because my job is I want people to have a great time here. And no, we are not the biggest, but I would love for you to think that we are the best. Like we give you the best experience when you come in. But um, again, having that partner that's like, all right, you read it, wipe it off your back, let it go. And I'm like, I want to dwell here a little longer. No, let's go. Like, he has to remind me sometimes, like, nah, like keep going. You got that one 2-star review, but then you got 200 5-star. Like, what do but those little things kind of make you like want to stop in your steps sometimes, like, am I doing this right? But just knowing the bigger picture, knowing that we're creating generational wealth for our daughters. My daughters know how to run this building, right? Like, my 18-year-old, she comes home from school, I get a little break. She can run it. My 13-year-old can do a lot of events. She's getting ready to train to be a party host. And I think she's going to be one of the best, because I'm going to train her, right? And she has a personality like us, and she's going to be a great party host. So I think that seeing my children proud of us, that helps me keep going, even in those hard days. Seeing the community excited about what we have, it helps me keep going for sure.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. I know for a lot of people that, specifically younger people that, they're like, I want to, I don't want to go to school. I want to be an entrepreneur, or like I want to build something. And I'm like, that's awesome. But I was like, you better, like, it's not going to be, I think people fall in love with like what they see on social media and see,
Yes.
see all this, people, with big watches and everything. I was like, no,
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to be that. It's going to
Listen.
be sometimes some sleepless nights, sometimes like,
Yes.
man, like, did I do the right thing? Or, it's all that stuff. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be bad reviews, and you learn how to deal with it. Especially if God's got the vision, God's giving you a vision. Um,
Yeah.
don't expect for it to be rainbows all the time.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Your job is to put that vision out and provide a service and do what's called on your heart. And sometimes
That's
you're
right.
not gonna have people that's not gonna like it for whatever reason. This
Mm-hmm.
is part of it. So I'm glad you said that because I think a lot of people, like I want to do this, I want to do that, and I was like, look, you're gonna have to, first of all, you're gonna have to have some faith and some belief.
Mm-hmm.
um,
First and foremost.
yeah, and then figure out the people that's gonna be able to help you out.
Right.
It's like I said, it takes a lot of work, and I to me, I know it warms my heart because I remember like you initially talking about this, and I know
Mm-hmm.
I create the logo and everything for it, and then seeing you like build up the capital and get everything packaged up to
Mm-hmm.
be ready to go, and it's always cool sort of seeing that now and seeing where what it is now. Um,
Thank
and now usually I'll check out the videos on Facebook or on Instagram,
you.
so
Mm-hmm.
it's always great sort of seeing that from humble beginnings and see what it is and what it could become. And for you, what do you feel like maybe potential ideals? I didn't know what do you see for Outer Limits right now, just going into
So
2026 and beyond.
yeah, so I one of my things that we talked about, and even when we were talking as a family, like I want to see growth, right?
Hmm.
Like I think we did a video the other day, and it's like I look forward to growth, right? So we're coming up on we're coming up on 4 years celebrating, but we had our lease a little before that. We had to do the build out or whatever, so we're coming up on our 5 year lease, and it is my desire. I would love to grow. It is also my desire to have a building of my own. We lease our space now, 12,000 square feet. So over the next year or so I would love to build out our own facility that we can call our home, that it's ours, that we can grow into, that we can, be there for years to come. I want to see, for me personally, with the business, I want to see more organization. I want to see, I did few, maybe a year or so ago now, I did a reboot, right? Um, Things that didn't work the first time, I said, okay, I'm a reboot. Because sometimes you get stuck in that rut, right? It did not work the first time. You're like, what do I do now? Like, I don't want to try that again. But I told myself, I said, I'm a reboot, right? And I'm getting ready to do another reboot. I don't care how many reboots I'm going to do. We're going to reboot until we get it right. But I'm getting ready to do another reboot. Those things that did not work the first time, we're going to try again. I'm trying some new things. I'm listening to customers and say, I need this. This will be a good idea. I'm listening to my staff who are like slime manufacturers. I'm like, we did slime already. And there's a certain sector of kids who want to do it again. So I'm listening to those things and say, okay, let's reboot again. But I'm listening, but I'm also being realistic. And I know that, things, can get expensive
Yeah,
and cost a lot of money, but I am trying to grow this year, even if I have to redo some things that I did last year, even if I have to um, try some new things. I'm trying to go, as we're sitting here, this is one of my new things I'm gonna pull out. You ever been to a place where you stuff animals?
yeah,
So this is in the room that I'm sitting now. We're gonna do a bear workshop where you get to stuff the animals. I'm trying stuff new. They'll get a birth certificate, all that kind of stuff because I want to be here. I want to be around. We want to be financially stable and financially even free that, what we owe, we're going to be able to pay back, and we want to we want to see growth. We definitely want to see growth. So,
yeah.
I've started writing those plans and those visions and started writing them down so we can hit those goals for this year.
That's great. That's great. Uh, so right now, what, if you where you right now, and I know sometimes, we get to, maybe we start out, even when we're young, I always feel like everyone has those little breadcrumbs, like those little urges that I think that God gives us when we're younger. And sometimes it takes us a while to sort of, get back to the track that we were supposed to be on. Maybe for you, like what if you had to talk to your younger self, you had a chance to go back and, like, hey, you could say a couple of words It may or may not change anything, but if you had the chance to go back to your younger self and speak to her, what would you say?
I definitely would say, it won't always be like this. That's my song too. But I would say that to my younger self, like it gets better. Now I grew up in a great home. Me and my husband laugh all the time because he calls my family the Cosbys. He said he was growing up as something else. So that was, I had a great upbringing, but those things you might have struggled with, in college. I can remember I was so frustrated because my degree was in athletic training and our program was supposed to be accredited and it never got accredited, right? So I had my senior year, I had to change my major to education with the emphasis of recreation because that was the closest to it. But the Lord knew my path, right? So I love being able to say I have that recreation background, on my degree. Look what I'm doing. Like, who knew? It will be okay. It won't always be like this. That was a rough time in college. I had to take a whole extra year. So I was one of those 5-year college, degree people instead of
Hmm.
4 because I just felt so like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? But it won't always be like this. Like, God had a purpose, they had a plan. And who knew I was going to open a family entertainment center? Like, even as I said at Lee University and had all the inflatables, it was so fun for me. Who knew that, God knew, but who knew that I was going to open an inflatable company that I'll be doing the same thing at Pitt and at Carnegie Mellon University here. Like, who knew that God knew? And sometimes you stress and you get in this rut where you just are so like, I got to do this. I got to do this. I thought I had to do it. Like athletic training was my thing. Like I love that. But God knew, like, and it won't always be like this. It won't always be confusing. Like there's a time where, just trust God. I would tell my younger self, trust God. It won't always be like this. Like he's going to see you through, and it's going to be well for sure.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's something that I think a lot of people need to hear. Like normally, like if you backtrack and you look at the steps in your life, normally there's little patterns that you see that like, hey, this might be something that it doesn't. It seems irrelevant right now, but it may you look back and like, wow, I
Yeah.
can't believe this was even in my life. I was like, I was sitting
Mm,
here. And
yeah.
sometimes that's something I tell a lot of my fighters that I work with is like, sometimes we're we're looking for answers in the wrong places. Like sometimes the answer may be right in front of your face if you just
Yes.
soften your heart a little bit and sort of see
Mm-hmm.
it for what it is. Sometimes those answers are just sitting there, but
Mm-hmm.
it just takes us years to sort of like come full circle. Like, wow, I've been doing this the whole time. I didn't even realize it. Um,
Right.
so that I think that's always amazing. I know for me, like I've always wanted to be in art, but I know there were certain things specifically, like when I come back sort of full circle and I sort of see what I'm doing now, and just the things that's transpired. I'm like, wow, I guess was always supposed to be doing the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So not to say we're always evolving and things like that, but there's always those 2 or 3 gifts that like, hey, look,
That's right.
this is gonna be here in your life. You may not see it
Mm-hmm.
yet, but I just need you to see it for what it is, and then let's go down the track and see what transpires from. But it's always, I know for me, like I find myself, sort of looking back a little bit more now and like, wow, I needed this to happen, like good or bad,
That's
like
right.
I needed it had to happen. Um,
Right. And it
so
was God ordained because I
yeah,
wouldn't have
yeah.
it. I just had my mind set on what I wanted to do. And it's funny because even last summer, one of the classes I took was a whitewater rafting class, right? When I was at Lee and we went down is that the Hawassi or the Kauai? Or Kauai.
Yeah, it
Went
might be, well,
down.
depending on which one you go. Yeah, because well, Hawaii can be a little. Yeah, Hawaii's a little bit easier. Or Koei can be a little crazy depending on what
I think
level.
that's the one we went because it was, crazy. But I took that class in college and I enjoyed it so much. So I took Roy and my girls, and it was a blast. But to think that like I would have never, taken that class if I never would have whitewater rafts if I didn't take that class. And even the recreation part, like I got climbing walls. I can remember taking a class at Lee where we had to go rock climbing. And I always tell my girls, like, I used to be a beast. I used to climb, not now. But I used to do that kind of so they could beat me now climbing. But like it was just God ordained. And at the time it seemed so devastating because I knew like, oh no, like, I knew what my degree was supposed to be in. I had done my student teaching. I had done all of that. And it seemed very, very devastating. But God just worked it out. So, sometimes you just have to like sit back and just let him take control. we think we know, but we have to sometimes sit back and, he knows best. And now, every time I say, what's your degree? Education with an emphasis in recreation, you see, recreation. So it's definitely a godsend that I didn't know I needed.
Yep. Yep. So I asked this for all my guests. Creative tips. What's one creative tip or tips you can provide our audience? I think for me personally, creativity is across the board. Life,
Hmm.
relationships, business, everything's creative. So for you, what's a creative tip that sort of keeps you, maybe something a tip that you can give to our listeners?
So my creative tip will be you have to kind of stay in tune with the times, and for like I told you earlier, my staff is not allowed to have phones or anything like that, but I will hand them my phone so quick and say, hey, go create content because I know that what they want to see. They do all this dancing and all of this, but I know it's what is needed. They even got me doing this and dances. And when I look at all the social media, like when I look at those things, those are what, 3,000 views and 4,000 views. So I know that's what people want to see. So, we can't stay in our own self. We got to listen to some of these young people sometimes because that's what people want to see and they want to know. So even staying in tune with the times, like, I even I was so set when I first opened here. You had to have on khakis or jeans, and you had to have your outer limits shirt, and like, you don't play no games. Like, you don't come in here professional, no crops or anything like that. Now, I kind of had to stay in tune with the times. Like, I don't allow leggings or nothing like that, but they want to wear army fatigue pants sometimes. And it looks kind of cute with their neon shirts. I'm like, okay, I can do that. Then here come these Tasman slippers. I'm like, they look kind of house shoeish. They made them look a little cute. Okay, I can do it. So I have to stay up with the times because they know what people like when they come in here. And when I tell you, it's very true. When I see them post something, I'm like, "Ooh, my daughter did something to my page yesterday," in like, I'm not even joking, probably like 2 minutes. I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm helping you out. Boom, 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 boom. Do you know that thing got like 4,000 views? I don't know what she did so quick, but I got 4,000 views on it. So we got to kind of relinquish some things like I've learned, for my creativity. And I'm very creative, like again, creating different things that we can do. But I also have to know that some of these young people that work for me are definitely creative. And I got to kind of take some of their ideas, and relinquish some control. Now I let them have my phone, the video, and then I have to just, look over it to
Yeah.
make sure it doesn't have any, craziness in it.
Yeah.
But I definitely, part of my creativity is being open and listening to others, and their ideas, as well.
Yeah, those are some good tips. Sometimes, I think sometimes we're real quick to sort of block off anything that a lot of these young kids are doing, and they're really intuitive, they're really smart, and
Really
they're,
are.
like I said, they're native with technology.
They
They
are.
grown up with it, so
Mm.
never dismiss it. Obviously, me personally, I'm like, hey, I want to stay on brand. Let's at least have the shirt, but
Mhm.
let's have some flexibility
Mhm.
there too. So that's a good tip. That's a good
Yeah, I
tip.
can't get with the leggings yet. But
Yeah,
I can do like, even like no pants with stuff on it. Get to the little rhinestones now. Okay, that's cute. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
I was very at first because I didn't want, it was almost like a stereotype of people like, oh, they just in there wearing it. I just didn't want that, right? Like I feel like
yeah,
I overcompensated because I didn't want people to feel like you're not professional, you're not, so I'm like, that's the uniform, that's what it is. Let's go. Even with our jumperoo, I used to have them in khakis. We're flipping bounce houses. Do you know what those khakis look like at the end of the night? So I had to be realistic. Y'all can wear basketball shorts as long as you're on a jumperoo t-shirt, wear your basketball shorts, sweatpants, whatever you need to, because these khakis, they were all filthy dirty at the end of the night. Like it was crazy, but I was like so afraid of like people thinking like I wanted to be so professional and on it. But I had to be flexible, I had to learn that. I had to definitely learn.
yeah. That's you actually bring up a really great point, and that's something I just released an article for a magazine that I work with, and one of the tips on branding was being flexible,
Mm-hmm.
and learning to be adaptable. You got to. So
Have
that's
to.
great. I'm glad
Yeah,
you said
you
that.
definitely have to.
Before we sign off, what are some ending words of wisdom? Something that I feel like would resonate with listeners, something that's on your heart, something that maybe someone needs to hear right now. What are those words of wisdom?
So I would say, follow your dreams. And that's just not a cliche thing. It is very true. God gave me this vision so many years ago, and I could not rest until it came to fruition. So follow those dreams, though it may be tough, though it may be rough, it'll be worth it all. I have zero regrets with all the mistakes I've made, the sleepless nights. I have zero regrets. Like, I absolutely love that God gave me the vision. I worked at it and was able to accomplish what I was set out to do. Like, I love that, and I just say it is. Somebody told me one time, like, "Ooh, if I can look at you, one word that comes to mind is perseverance." Yes, it's going to take a lot, and I'm just one of those people. Like, I can't give up. Like, I gotta work, I gotta push until it comes to pass. And I would just say that to persevere, keep going. You wouldn't understand how many no's I got before I got a yes. Like, literally, I would save all my denial letters from the banks. No building would touch me. Even the building I'm in today, I originally came to this building and he wouldn't touch me. But then another facility came open and I was devastated. But thank God I was able to persevere. You got to stay at it. If it's something that you want, it is worth fighting for. You got to keep going. That's what I would say. Just keep going, persevere through it all.
That's great. So how can people reach out to you? Maybe people specifically if they're in the Pittsburgh area and they're like, hey,
Yes.
we need an outdoor adventure park. We need a venue
Mhm.
for a birthday party. Anything. What's the best way to get in touch with you and maybe get a booking to have their next event there?
All right. So our best way for me is our website, which is outerlimitsadventure.com. You can jump on our website. We also are on multiple social media platforms. If you want some fun, go to our TikTok. You'll see that on there. And it's just Outer Limits Adventure Park. Instagram and Facebook, we're on Outer Limits Adventure Park. You see that little logo right there that Quantel created. We are on there. You'll see that logo, and that's our business pages. We are located right outside the city of Pittsburgh, about 15 minutes from downtown, 15, 20 minutes, depends on traffic, from downtown Pittsburgh, in a little subdivision suburb called Monroeville. We're on a really busy highway, which is Business Route 22. Our address is 4079 William Penn Highway. Again, right in Monroeville. We're catty-corner to Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, all of those right here in that location. And we would encourage you to come by, stop by, tell a friend, tag them, share this, because again, we feel like when you would come visit us, you're going to come back again.
That's awesome. That's great. Once again, hey Carolyn, thank you for jumping onto the show. You get a chance. Anyone that, like I said, if you're in the area, swing by. She just put out the website, and so yeah, it's like I said, great venue. Locally ran family owned business, and like I
Mhm.
said, you'll know. Like I said, I know I've seen a lot of their snippets. With I know some of the some of the employees dancing and stuff. So like I said, they keep it fun, they
Yes,
keep it light. And like I said, that this is a way to help support a locally run business, and you know the difference. I mean, anytime
that's right.
you get something local, it's like I said, it's from the heart. And
Right.
this is I feel like this is something that has been on our been on our spirit. This is something that she was built to do. And like I said, it's always cool to sort of see something like this come to fruition. So you get a chance, please support. She's on, like I said, on social media. Go to her website if you want to book an event, book for maybe a possible event, birthday parties, anything, or just swing by and check out the spot. Go by there. Like I said, please support. So that's what I got today. Carolyn, thank you for jumping on to the show. Special shout out to my sponsors, Baba Coffee, based in Carlsbad, California. Smuggling Good Vibes. So they've been a great sponsor of mine. Elevate Coffee Trading, a coffee brand that's based in the Dallas, Texas area. Extracting hope with every drop. And then we have Resonant Sciences, which is a leading aerospace company that's based in Dayton, Ohio. So, like I said, they've been a huge sponsor for the show. And like I said, and they're also too, if you're in the engineering, if you want to, if you're in the engineering space and you want to possibly get into the aerospace industry, this would be a good company for you. So you can check them out at resonantsciences.com. So those are my sponsors for the day. And so yeah, that's what I got. Thank you, Carolyn, for coming on.
Thank
And
you
this
for
is the
having
Creative
me.
Brew. Be creative, stay inspired.
All I know is hard work, really nothing else. I resort to smoking weed, yo, cause nothing helps. Called to hold me up, told them loot to sample up. We gotta come together now, cause I had enough. The time is now, there'll never be another one. It's a SOUNDCLOUD time.